Welcome to yet another educational show brought to you by Capital Markets Authority. My name is Byron and I'm with Martin. Martin, nice to have you back.
Thank you, Byron. Very happy to be here. Martin Owing is the name.
Yes. From last time, many people have been inquiring a lot on what we were talking about last time. So I want us to talk more about the collective investment schemes.
Yes.
What are those and what are the different types? Just to clarify for the people, and they would know how to proceed from there. Yes,
Thank you very much, Byron. A collective investment scheme is a product that's licensed by Capital Markets Authority. And when you look at Capital Markets Authority, one thing that needs to be appreciated is that it is the regulator of the buying and selling of shares to the Ugandan public. So anybody who wants to sell shares to the Ugandan public needs a license from
Capital Markets Authority.
Exactly. Then number two, Capital Markets Authority is also involved in the trading of bonds and bills.
Yes.
And what therefore happens is Capital Markets Authority licenses collective investment scheme managers. So here you will have a collective investment scheme, just as the word goes. You would then say that what is this scheme going to collect? Which investment are they going to collect and put in a pool?
In a pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number one, when you talk of a collective investment scheme, the first product you look at is the treasury bill.
Okay.
What's a treasury bill? It's a loan to government. I lend to government for 12 months and below.
Okay.
Yes. So if I'm lending for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, that's a treasury bill. It becomes a treasury bond when I lend to government for 12 months and
above.
24 months, 36 or 60 months and above.
Okay.
Now, how much do I need to lend to government? 100,000.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum.
Okay.
So most people think, you're talking about a product for rich people. No. Even with 100,000, you can lend to government. So the Capital Markets Authority therefore says, for a collective investment scheme, we're going to license a fund manager or a collective investment scheme manager and allow this person to set up a collective investment scheme of treasury bills and put them into a pool. Once they're in a pool, divide them into units. Once you've divided them into units, each unit will be valued at 100,000.
Okay.
Anybody who's looking to earn an interest on 100,000 and above, that 100,000 has been hidden somewhere. Either in the pocket, in the socks, in a pillow, in a mattress, in a kitchen jar. It was doing nothing. Now let's get it to do something. Yes, because over a period of time, that money will not maintain the same value. So this collective investment scheme manager puts it into a pool, divides it into units and sells. Now the advantage is, if I have 1 million and you have 10 million, we all earn the same interest rate. Nothing like somebody getting a higher interest rate
because
than the other.
A higher amount.
We're all in the same pool. Okay. Yes, but if we went to a bank and asked for a fixed deposit, you have 10 million, I have 1 million, you get the higher rate.
Yeah.
So that's why we say that once you have 100,000, you're already benefiting from a high rate. Then somebody will say that, what's the name for this treasury bill pool? Collective investment scheme pool. It's called a money market.
It's called a money market.
Unit trust.
Unit trust.
Yes. So then somebody will say, but I have heard that the treasury bonds are giving a higher interest than the treasury bills.
Yes.
Capital Market says we'll sort that out for you. Again, the licensor, collective investment scheme fund manager. Now the collective investment scheme pool will now include treasury bills and treasury bonds. Break them into units and sell them to those who trust them. Hence the name unit trusts. Now when that unit trust has mixed the treasury bills and bonds, they call it an umbrella unit trust. Because now the umbrella has extended past the treasury bills to the
bonds.
Exactly. Then somebody else will say, that's very good. But I am thinking 20, 25 years down the road.
Yeah.
Isn't there a product that does better than the treasury bill or the treasury bond? Then a capital markets authority will say, yes, we've licensed fund managers, and those fund managers will stand up and say, yes, there's a third product. It's called shares.
Okay.
So when I buy a share, I buy a unit of capital in a company
Yeah.
or a unit of ownership for two reasons. If the company is dividing the profit, I get some of the profit because now I'm a shareholder. Number two, I would have wanted to buy the share at a low price in order to sell it at a higher price. Exactly. So now they'll say, into this pool, bring in shares. So you'll bring in the treasury bills, put them in the pool. The treasury bonds, put them in the pool. Now add on shares in the pool. Break them into units and then sell them. Now that is now called the umbrella unit trust fund. That is now called the balanced unit trust fund. Yes. The umbrella is just treasury bills and bonds. When you bring in shares, it's called the balance because now you're balancing in order to get a higher return.
Right.
Yes.
Many people many Ugandans, and we know they're very skeptical about market. Whenever they hear stocks, markets, they very quickly turn off. They're like, that one, I don't know how to trade, or it's not working in Uganda. But maybe if you can enlighten them or tell them why, particularly now. For example, me, I'm a young man, I'm 26. I want to save for the future, retirement or whatever. What's the benefit of me investing with the Capital Markets Authority?
Excellent. That's a very good question. And what I would say is, when you look at Uganda, at quite a high pace, we're moving towards a consumer culture in Uganda. What does that mean? You get money, spend it.
That's true.
You get money, spend it. But who is advising the youth? Who is advising even the elders? That you can't spend all the money you get. You must also learn to save a portion, whether it's 5 or 10% of the money that you get, and keep it for emergency.
Okay.
Or, as others would say, keep it for
a rainy day.
A rainy day or a day of drought. You'll need the money.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the end of the day, that's a key reason to save. Or to invest.
Yeah.
And investments come in different forms. But at the end of the day, if you have idle money or consistent money coming in, set aside a portion and invest it or save it.
Yeah.
Then there's also the aspect of which you brought out, and you said most Ugandans are like, these things are too complicated. But look at it like this. When you look at the unit trusts in Uganda, as we speak now, there are 8,000 accounts within the unit trusts.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 to 10,000. When you look at the buying and selling of shares inside Uganda on the Uganda Securities Exchange, there are about 30,000 accounts.
Really?
Okay. Yes. When you look at the buying and selling of the treasury bill, there are about 4,000 accounts. Now compare that with 10 million bank accounts in Uganda.
Yeah.
Then compare that with over 15 million mobile money accounts in Uganda.
Yeah.
Are we together? Then look at it like this. In Kenya, when you talk about the Nairobi Securities Exchange, there are over 3 million accounts.
Nice.
Our brothers in Tanzania have 1 million accounts. The East African stock exchanges, we're in the East African community now. Whether we like it or not, at time X, these stock exchanges must come together.
Yeah.
Now, we imagine 30,000 Ugandans with 3 million Kenyans and 1 million Tanzanians. Yeah. Yet the stock exchange is where the economy is, the private companies are.
Yeah.
And now you can't be saying 30,000 are competing with 3 million. So we can't run away from the fact that we must begin to understand the buying and selling of shares, the collective investment schemes, all of those are actually relevant for the growth of our economy.
So we can't run away from it.
And securing our future.
So we can't run away from it.
Yes, we can't.
It's right there. We need to take time, invest, and in knowing what it means and what not.
And that's why I say, even if you have 100,000, start there. Sorry, I interrupted you.
What can you tell a normal guy, muntu wa wansi, probably a trader in Chikubo? He has no idea. He's a hustler. He's a businessman. He knows the buying and selling of goods. He probably earns that money. He earns like 50,000 a day, constantly. But like you said, consumerism as a culture. How would you advise him who he's like that, but he doesn't know? What are we doing as particularly capital markets authority to reach even that guy?
Yes, what I would say is that it's quite interesting, but the banks that are the last to close in this city and therefore in this country, do you actually know where they are? They're in Chikubo. And why? Because these traders are actually saying, before we go home,
we need to
bank our money.
Yeah.
Now, at time X, they were not banking their money. But now, consistently, even if you went there at whatever time, when the bank is open, it's full.
Yeah.
And they're banking their money. Now, at least we've got them to the point where the money is being banked.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing that we've got to alert them on is whether you're a trader, whether you're a savings group, whether you're an investment group or a church.
Yeah.
Inside Uganda, we've got to ask this question. Is your money lying idle? Simple. Remember the parable of the talents?
Yes.
One got 5 talents, came back with 10. 3 came back with 6. One got 1 and buried it.
Yeah.
How many Ugandans are burying their money? In their socks, on their mobile phones,
in their pillow,
under
their mattress.
Exactly. Now, the challenge that we have is, what can we do as you are waiting, as that trader is waiting to buy the next set of goods? Is that money lying idle? Is it incurring bank charges, or is it earning an interest?
Yeah.
Whether you're a trader, a border person, as long as you are saving, is your money lying idle? Ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
What's the advantage of the unit trust? Remember when I talked about the treasury bill?
Yes.
It must be there for 3 months, 6 months,
and
12 months.
Yeah.
And you can't touch it when it's there. You've got to wait for that period to end.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if I need it after 1 month? I've got an emergency. That's where the unit trust comes in. In event that you need your money in whole or in part, you'll get it within 48 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you're opening a unit trust, you go to the collective investment scheme unit trust manager and open an account with them. Now, that is linked to your commercial bank account, because the money is going to leave your commercial bank account to go to the unit trust account. Now, when you're done and you say, okay, I need some of my units back, it goes back to your commercial bank account.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
I recently read somewhere that majority of Ugandans don't have NSSF, which is the retirement benefits package.
Yes.
And for some reason, we are comfortable like that. And we are not thinking about after 40, after 50, 60,
yes.
How will I be earning? What will I be doing? How does Capital Markets Authority or do the unit trusts give a better, or is it an alternative to a person who maybe works in a company like the traders in Chikubo? They don't deposit in NSSF. Can it be an alternative to NSSF, particularly for a retirement package?
Yes. And
is it better than NSSF?
Okay, that's a good one. I think, truth be told, NSSF in Uganda is East Africa's biggest pension scheme, retirement benefit scheme. There is no retirement benefit scheme in East Africa bigger than NSSF.
Okay.
Number 2, it's arguably the best run retirement scheme in East Africa, because NSSF in Uganda has never run out of money. They've never got to a point where they've said we've constructed too many houses and
We are out of money.
we have run out of money to pay people. You know, actually, they've always had liquidity. So it's a very well-run fund, and it's a very hard fund to beat. Because if you're talking of 14 trillion Uganda shillings, that is what you call, for lack of a better word, economies of scale. Meaning that if I had 1 million and you had 10 million, who gets the higher interest rate? It's the one with the 10 million. It's the one with the more money that can now bargain and say, okay, we have this 14 trillion, give us a high interest rate. So NSSF is giving a very good interest rate. It's difficult to beat. But what we can say is that the unit trust is a vehicle for saving for retirement.
Okay.
Yes. So what I would encourage people, because now NSSF has opened up and said, even as an individual, you can go to the NSSF and save.
Yeah.
Yes, please do that. But also set up what is called voluntary savings over and above what I'm taking, over and above the houses I'm building, over and above, you know, contributions that I'm making. Am I making a deposit towards an additional volume of savings? Now, those savings don't only just have to be for retirement. They can be for business. They can be for education. Maybe you're looking towards saving to go to university. They can be for other causes. You get the idea. Building a house, I need to do some savings before I start the construction. I need to buy some land. All that is something that people can have in mind in using the unit trust. Why? The unit trust tracks the highest interest rate in the land. And the highest interest rate usually comes out of the treasury bill and the treasury bond. So it gives a competitive interest to the money that you have. All you need is 100,000 to start. And you can keep making that deposit as it grows bigger and bigger.
Yes. If I'm a busy guy, if I'm a busy person, and I don't have time to take notice of stock, that this one has risen, now let me buy, this one is falling, let me sell. If I don't want to go through all that hassle and whatnot, does CMA have a solution for me?
Actually, the solution that CMA has is the unit trust. Yes. And why? Because, number one, let's look at the money market unit trust. We say that the pool of the money market unit trust, the underlying financial instrument, is the treasury bill. Now, most Ugandans don't know that every 2 weeks, government is asking anybody with 100,000 and above, you can bring it, we'll give you an interest. Now, if that is happening with the treasury bill on the money market, the umbrella unit trust brings in the treasury bill and the treasury bond to give you a bit of a higher interest rate. You get the idea? Then, what would happen here is most Ugandans will say, I don't know which one is higher than the other. I don't know whether how it was 6 months ago or 1 year ago. And that's why Capital Markets Authority has licensed the fund manager, licensed the collective investment scheme fund manager, so that at the end of the day, you just buy the unit trust instead of worrying which one is going up, which one is going down. So in the balanced unit trust, they now bring in the shares, the buying and selling of shares. Now, somebody would say, I also don't know if Stanbic Bank is better than Bank of Baroda, or Bank of Baroda is better than DFCU. You get the idea? Or if Quality Chemicals is giving a better return than BAT Uganda. All that discussion, most people don't know. So just go and buy the balanced unit trust. That solves the whole problem.
You talked about managers, that CMA has licensed some managers to do that for you, to do the work for you.
Yes.
Who are these managers?
You have the biggest of the unit trust managers is UAP Old Mutual. They're seated at Nakawa Business Park. You'll be able to find them there. There's ICA at Renzori House and Crested Towers. There's Britam Asset Managers in Nakasero, opposite Emin Pasha on Akibwa Road. There's Zeno, which is at Workers House, and there's Sanlam, which is in Bugolobi. So any of these, you can actually approach them, and they'll be able to assist you by a unit trust. Now, in event that members find that in addition to that, they may want to call my number. My WhatsApp number is 0757 216-290. A number of people have actually WhatsApped me since the last call. That's 0757-216-290. And then also, those who want to call me on MTN, it's 077-22-16290. That's 077-22-16290.
All right, Martin. It's always a pleasure you coming around and teaching us about these things that we think are very complicated, but they are really not.
And it's always a pleasure to be here, and we thank the management of Family TV for allowing us to be here.
All right, Martin, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
This is Family TV, enriching lives.